Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're talking about Palamedes, how to build her, which resonance card to use, what team she works best in, and everything you need to get the best out of her. So without further ado, let's get started. Palamedes is a front row Nature DPS. She hits hard when built around her strength. Her ultimate at level 3 deals a massive AoE damage, hitting all enemies for 912 of her own attack with a 32 seconds cooldown. On top of that, she gains a 9% crit chance for 16 seconds every time she ults. But her real damage doesn't come from her ultimate, it comes from her active skill. Her active skill at level 3 inflicts a 520% of her attack to forward enemies. It has a 12 seconds cooldown, and every time she uses it, she gains a 6% additional damage buff. This can stack up to 3 times, meaning she can reach 18% additional damage if she keeps refreshing in it. Each stack lasts for 10 seconds, and whenever she uses her active skill again, the timer resets, and after the third stack, it goes back to 0 after that 10 seconds. I know it's a bit confusing at first, but it will make sense when you look at her passive. Her first passive is the core of her kit. If an enemy is under any type of restraint, which means any form of hard CC, basically stun, root, freeze, fear, anything basically that stops them from acting, she reduces her active skill cooldown by 10 seconds. That means in a CC heavy team, she can spam her active skill a lot and get all of those 3 stacks very quickly. But that's not the only thing she gets. Whenever she attacks a restrained enemy, she gains 70% damage increase for her active skill and basic attacks for 3 seconds. And this has a only 3 seconds cooldown, so it procs constantly. And on top of that, she gets another flat 70% damage increase just from attacking enemies under CC. And her second passive gives her a 56% attack and 9% crit chance at level 3, which is just a free stats that helps her scale harder. So overall, her kit relies heavily on your teammates applying CC. The more CC there is, the more she spam her active, keeps her stacks up, and get those massive damage buffs. Now let's talk about her resonance card. On this account, I was super unlucky. I planned to max her out since I'm lacking a nature team, but I spent around 30k gems and only got 1 copy, so that's why I don't have her signature card here. But I tested everything on my other account, so I still have all the results for you guys. Her signature card isn't bad at all. It gives you 10% ignore damage reduction, 60% melee attack, and once her HP is above 10%, not 100, that's a mistake here, she gains 60% crit damage at level 10. On paper, it's a really strong card, and it can be really good for Star Incarnation or guild raids overall, but the thing is we actually have way better options for her. The best and the most consistent you can put on her is Anissa's card. It gives her melee attack, crit chance, and even buffs her entire team with a 36% attack. It just fits her kit perfectly and helps her and buff her team at the same time. Another option is Ran's card. Since she's a front row, she can trigger the passive often, but the problem in CC heavy teams, if the enemies are constantly restrained, she won't be able to proc it properly, which translates to somewhat a DPS loss in comparison. But still, it's a really solid card to put on her, and it's better than a lot of other alternatives. And then there's Lua's card, and this one is crazy for her. Lua gives her the biggest boost in overall DPS. The active skill resets it provides, it's so perfect for her spammy rotations. However, it's better to give Lua's card to one of your CC supports, for example like Belzy or Tristan for a consistent CC application. But even though if you sacrifice the CC uptime and gave the card to Palamedes, the skill resets give her the highest numbers in the chart. So if you want to maximize her DPS, that's the best card for that. I also tested attack speed cards just to see how she scales with them, and actually she loves it a lot, and also her CC supports as well. So if you manage to maintain around 60 to 70% restrained uptime, she starts doing ridiculous numbers because of the insane buffs she gets from her passive and active skill. Also, her basic attacks start dishing out huge numbers. So just for heads up, CC oriented teams usually don't have the highest damage output. They tend to be on the weaker side and in terms of DPS in comparison to other teams, but with Palamedes they feel insanely fun. You just sit there watching the enemies doing nothing while she destroys everything. So what should you get first? Her resonance card or her T1? Honestly, I would say skip her card if you already have any of these good alternatives I mentioned earlier. But if you don't have other options, then yeah, you can pick it up. It's a good card to have in your account overall, just not something you should force yourself to pull for. Even her T1 isn't a big damage jump for her. It's basically around 2% DPR increase, which is tiny if you compare it to other DPSs. Most of our real scaling happens later. For example, the jump from T1 to T3, she gets around 60% increase, which clearly shows the devs really want people to go for T3. And then from T3 to T5, she gets around 30% increase. Altogether from T0 to T5, you're looking at almost like 118% to 120% damage increase, depending on the teams. So her dupes matter a lot if you're aiming for the highest possible damage. Now let's talk about her pet. It's honestly just okay, nothing crazy or must have. It gives 60% attack, 10% additional damage, 15% crit damage, and 5% block chance, which is fine. And if you use it as a main pet, it gives you 100% extra damage whenever you attack an immobilized enemy. You know what, that can be really handy in story stages where you're trying to stall a boss and you don't have enough DPS to kill him in time. But outside of that, it's an easy skip in my opinion. I highly recommend going for her dupes instead of her pet, but it's up to you. Now let's move on to her builds. For the sword, go with Arundite. She really wants the crit and crit damage from it, plus the added target. And if you're running a heavy CC team, switch to dual blade. For treasure, Tempest is the best option. You can also use the new crown. I still haven't finished the story on this account, so I don't have it yet, but it gives the similar stats with even better main stats. For runes, Thunderheart is perfect with as much crit damage as you can get. The new rune works too, but you lose the healing passive, and because she's a front row character, the healing is actually really important for keeping her alive. And for the chest piece, you have few options. Personally, I found she survived surprisingly well with Dion and Biddy on the team in a lot of root CC, so I'm using the Holy Fire armor for the extra attack percentage, but when she starts dying, I will switch to the new armor or the Tempest armor for more survivability. Goddess and Gold armor are also completely fine choices for her. For specialties, just build her like your typical DPS, full crit damage, full attack, or a mix of both depending on what you get. Now let's talk about her teams. Like any melee DPS, Palamedes absolutely loves having Dion with her. Dion gives her crit damage, melee attack buffs, healing, shields, everything she needs to stay alive on the front line. She's basically the perfect partner for any melee unit. Surprise, surprise, and Palamedes is no exception. And since her entire kit relies on CC, Biddy becomes a super strong pick as well for her. Biddy's heals, and she also deals a decent amount of damage as well. She gives your team crit chance and she applies root on enemies, which is actually crucial for Palamedes' passive uptime. But Biddy's alone isn't enough to really maximize her damage, and that's where Belzy comes in. I just love her in here. Belzy is extremely tanky. She also brings stuns, she applies defense reduction, and she deals a lot of side damage too. Just make sure to put her on slot 1 so she can take more damage than Palamedes. And for the last slot, it's completely flexible. Personally, I love running Tristan. She applies a ton of root, which keeps Palamedes' passive active almost non-stop, and it just makes the whole team flow really smoothly. This is actually my favorite version of the team right now, but you can absolutely run another DPS if you need to. Someone, for example, like Lowen or Vivian for a full root team. You can also slot in another support like Eren or Rhea, depending on what the stage needs. It really comes down to the enemy CC resistance as well. For example, if they're immune to root, you can switch over to stuns or fear by using someone like Sears for example. If freeze works better, you can bring Merlin or Catherine. You can also give Belzy a Barizada sword to help her proc freeze for you. There's a lot of genes variations you can try with Palamedes, and that's what makes her so fun. She basically adapts to whatever CC your team can provide, which is really fun and I really like about her. So to wrap it up, Palamedes is a very strong unit. She's fun to play, her teams feel extremely comfy, and I can finally play my stupid fair team. That's it for the video guys, I hope it helped you out. If it did, please leave a like and subscribe, and good luck on your summons, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.